Hello and welcome to Sierra Make. For today's video, I'm going to be making some DIY wood coasters using old Christmas trees. This is a present that I made for my parents for Christmas, and it is a fantastic way to upcycle old Christmas trees or some wood scraps from a Christmas tree lot. If you want to see another video of mine that is also upcycling and woodworking, you can click the card up there, and if you're in the middle of clicking things, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're new here, or the like button if you're a returner. Alright, let's get into it! First, here is your little safety warning. Before working with any type of power tool, make sure that you don't have any loose fabrics, that you have some safety goggles for your eyes, and that your hair is tied back if you have long hair like me. All of this is to make sure that nothing gets caught in the power tools you're using and that you don't injure yourself. Safety first. Now we can really jump in. In this bag, I have a ton of wood rounds or slices or wood discs, if you want to call them, that were cut off of the bottom of Christmas trees. And I got this bag just from going to my local tree lot and asking for their wood scraps. Or you can take a slice off of your old Christmas trees and collect it over the years, and then you'll also end up with a bag like this. For size reference, I'm going to use this coaster of me as a child. Yes, I am adorable. Get over it. And and I'm going to measure the length of this so I know how big my coasters need to be. So this is about 3 3/4 inches. So I'm going to go through that bag of wood discs that I have and pick out the ones that are the right size. Just like you can see here, depending on the size of tree that got cut, the disc might be bigger or smaller. So I can't really use those small ones because a glass won't fit on top of them fully. So I need at least 3.5 inches. This one here is 4 inches, as you can see, but the other one is under 3. So I definitely can't use the under 3 disc. So after going through my bag of Christmas tree slices, I ended up with these, which all are about the right size. They are all different types of trees, but that doesn't really matter. It kind of makes it a little bit cooler. And so now the next thing I need to do is to sand all of them because they were cut with a chainsaw, which makes the edge very rough. And you can tell that they are also not level. So I'm going to sand them until they are smooth and level. And since this would take a long time if I just use sandpaper by hand, I will use a belt sander. I'm using this machine outside because, oh my goodness, it creates so much sawdust, and you really don't want to be stuck indoors and coating everything around you in sawdust. You might also want to use a mask too so that you don't inhale all of the dust floating in the air. But anyways, this was taking me a really long time. I got maybe 3.5 done, and it took me like over an hour just to get that done. So there was clearly something wrong with the machine.
Cool off. You gotta take a break anyway.
So apparently this drum that holds the sandpaper belt is loose. As you can see, it wiggles here. So that's going to need to be fixed before I can move on. 3 done.
Oh yeah? After all that, 3?
Yeah. After all that.
Actually, it should do a lot better with the new bushing, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to have to put this project on hold until that part can be replaced. Luckily, it didn't take too long and I got back to sanding. You have no idea how much faster it went with a working machine and a new sandpaper belt. So it didn't take me that long to finish all of these. So the next little bit, now that my coasters are all flat and sanded, is I'm going to personalize them a little bit. And what is a cooler way to personalize wood than to use a brand? So this next little bit was made by my brother, so I'll have him explain it.
For the brand, we drew the file up in Autodesk Fusion 360. And from that program, it let us convert it directly into G-code, which is the type of computer language that our CNC plasma cutter uses. Once the logo was cut out, we welded it onto a rod, and the brand was basically ready to go. we decided to take one extra step of work hardening the end of it because the middle pieces are a little bit thin and we were worried about them bending. To work harden steel, we basically heat it up with a torch until it's all red hot, and then we quickly douse it in some old used motor oil, and that freezes the microstructure into a configuration that's much harder than normal.
So you may or may not have understood that. If you did, great job, you can make your own brand. If you didn't, don't worry, you're in the same boat as me. But I'm pretty sure that there are people online, on Etsy or whatnot, that can make your own personalized brand for you if you want them to. Or you can buy pre-made brands on Amazon. They have tons of different shapes and decorations. So anyways, we're going to move on to branding these wood coasters. Before working with fire or anything that can burn, make sure that you have your fire extinguisher or a bucket of water and your safety equipment on. So first off, I have some of my wood circles on this tray just because I don't want to accidentally leave any scorch marks on this beautiful flagstone. I would be in so much trouble. To heat up the brand, I will be using this makeshift flamethrower that my family made. Obviously, you don't have to use something like this. You could just do a wood fire or a charcoal fire or a handheld flamethrower. Anything that will heat the brand up to the right temperature so that it's glowing. But I don't have any wood to burn, so I am going to be using this giant flamethrower. Over here, you can see I have my fire extinguisher just in case. And I made sure that the flame is not pointed towards anything that could melt. All right, let's get started. There's the first few that I could get in. So when I put it on, it like exploded. It kapoofed. And that's what all that red is around there, which actually looks kind of really cool. I guess that kind of missed right there. Then this is the last one. You can tell it didn't kapoof as much. So I guess that means it was just a little too hot. Pretty cool though. Alright, now I'm just going to switch out the ones that are done with some that are not done. I have 20 of these coasters to do, but with this flamethrower, because the flame's so big, it heats up my brand super fast, and so I actually got this done really, really quickly. Also, isn't it just very satisfying to see the brand glow red, and then it does this? One thing that happened that you should all know is if my coaster was a little too thin, the wood actually curled up and around the brand and it warped a little bit, so it became no longer flat. But that only happened to the wood rounds that were super, super thin and not to the ones that were a good ½ inch thick. So if you check the materials list in the description, you'll see that I recommended having your wood be about a ½ inch thick and of course the larger than 3 inches diameter wide. Here I'm just cleaning off some stuff that got on the brand with a wire brush. This way I have a flat surface to brand my wood with. Now I'm just going to do the last one and go over the ones that look like they don't have a full burn. There is our set of 20 customized coasters, and now it's on to the very last part, which is sealing these wood coasters with a shellac. So you can see I have my coasters set on a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to use this Krylon triple thick crystal clear glaze, which is good for wood and will be really helpful to seal these coasters from any liquids that could drip down your glass onto them. Try to get an even coat on each coaster, so spray it all across the top and also on the sides of it, and let that dry. You might want to put on more than one layer, and then after you've let it dry, of course the instructions are on the can, so I would follow those. But after one side is dry, you can flip them over and spray the other side. Just a little reminder, you don't have to use the clear coat I'm using as long as it's one that can be used on wood. But if you want to support me and use the same one I'm using, you can find a link to it in the description down below. And now that it's dry, here's what it looks like. It probably could use 1 or 2 more coats on it. As you can see, the shine is not everywhere on it. But if you like it not super shiny, then it's perfectly fine the way it is. One other step that you could add to your coasters is you could add some little felt dots on the side that would be facing the table, or you could do a thin piece of cork there so that these coasters don't end up scratching your table. However, I love the look of this raw wood, and I want these to be reversible so the person using it can decide which side of it they want facing upward. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it how it is. So that means this project is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this little wood upcycled creation idea of mine. These little DIY wood coasters are a great way to reuse old Christmas tree trunks, and it's a great personalized gift for a family member. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you next Friday at 3. Thank you for watching. Also...